Someone who is unfortunately all too familiar with this horrifying scenario is Mark Klass. His daughter, 12-year-old Polly, was abducted at knife point from her own house during a slumber party. 65 days later, she was found, but she was the victim of murder. Her killer currently sits on California's death row at San Quentin State Prison. Mark joins us now. Also with us is Monique Lessan. She is a private investigator and owner of Investigatrix, as well as the author of Children of the Underworld. Mark, I want to start with you. Unfortunately, both of these cases that we were just talking about do have similarities to what happened to your daughter. I cannot imagine what the first few hours are like for any parent when this is unfolding.
Well, first it's in disbelief. I mean, you just have a hard time reconciling the fact that the child that you always said you would keep safe is somehow missing. But ultimately, you start to realize the truth, what actually happened, and then fear takes over. And you're living in fear until the resolution.
And Monique, one interesting thing is Lily Peters, this all went down in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. That's a relatively small town, just over 14,000 people. I think a lot of parents think to themselves, gosh, this only happens in the big, dangerous cities, but this is actually happening in small towns, isn't it?
Actually, it happens often in small towns because it's a matter of trust. People believe that they are safe. They leave their doors open, they don't lock their cars, and they allow the children to go from one location to another, from home to school, or from one family to another by bike or walk through woods. And nobody really thinks that that could ever happen. So, and there are less surveillance cameras. The perpetrator actually targets small cities. And what they do, they watch the kids and they start thinking about the schedules, and every day they follow them and they conduct some kind of a victimology. It's a profile that they have maybe for weeks in advance. And by the time
I find that so terrifying and fascinating. It totally surprised me. I would have assumed that it was the big cities where this was more common, but the fact that it's almost the opposite is so interesting. Former OJ Simpson prosecutor Marcia Clark, she actually wrote a piece for the Daily Piece. I wanted to get your reaction, Mark, to this. She argues that when it comes to assaults and robberies, big cities have more crime, but with the kidnappings, it is actually the smaller towns. And she says that traditionally in the small towns, the parents sometimes wait longer to call the police because they think, well, surely nothing bad would happen here. I mean, it's just so interesting, Mark.
Well, in Lily's case, it was apparently well after dark before the parents contacted the authorities. But everything that you both said is absolutely true. Polly was kidnapped out of a town of 45,000 people that was considered a completely and totally safe town. So people did let their guard down. And also the perpetrator had stalked Polly for some period of time. And I think I'd like to point out one other thing, that a really good way the people have to understand that a third of abduction attempts occur on school routes. So if we have some kind of programs, even neighborhood watch programs to keep an eye on kids going to and from school, we could cut kidnapping in the United States by a third.
And it also seems so important that parents call the police right away. I think a lot of parents, especially in small towns, wait because they think, well, you know, maybe my kid is out riding the bike or at a friend's house and just didn't call. Monique, explain to us why that 3-hour window is so critical.
Because a lot of evidence can get lost, first of all, and people's memory kind of fade away with all the details that they need to know in order to help the law enforcement. So those 3 hours are crucial, especially for small children under 10 years old. Honestly, I think that it's a mistake to wait 72 hours, as a lot of people say. By then, most children don't survive.
And Mark, you started the Klass Kids Foundation. Now you work with other parents who are going through this just unbelievably horrific time. Obviously, the first thing that they want to do is call police. But what else can they do right away to help the situation, to help find their kids?
Well, first of all, the best spokesperson for a missing child is going to be a parent. So what I would recommend doing is contacting the jurisdictional agency, then contacting other agencies in the community. In other words, you call the police and you call the sheriff. Then I would suggest you contact the FBI. They will come into a case at a family's request, and they have unprecedented resources and certainly more experience in this kind of crime than anybody else. Beyond that, I would suggest that people contact media assignment desks just to let them know that once they're ready to start doing stories on this disappearance, once it's confirmed that there's a parent there willing to talk to them, then they should contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They should contact friends, families, and neighbors, and then they need to start taking care of themselves, because sometimes, unfortunately, these things go on for long periods of time.
And one thing that I've noticed doing a lot of missing stories lately is that there's sometimes one person in the family who is very, very social media savvy, usually not one of the parents, and they're very distracted and overcome with grief, but maybe there's a cousin or a sibling that understands social media, and if they kick right into action, start an Instagram page, start a hashtag, start getting the word out, it seems it can really make a big difference. Have you noticed that, Monique? How important is social media right now, especially in the first, say, 24 hours, if you've got a kid that goes missing?
I definitely think that if people start combining forces and call their friends so everyone can get on social media to get the word out. But one thing that I have to say, while you are putting something on social media, so is the person who is also the perpetrator, who's following up with all the social media. And they follow your leads to distract the law enforcement. So you have to watch out. It has a double-edged sword, but I think that social media is very important and everyone can get on it.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. I mean, you have to be careful in those early hours what you post, especially if your child is missing and there's not a suspect at that point. You need to make sure you don't put out any information that could compromise the investigation or sort of tip off the possible suspect. Really, really good point. Mark, I want to show you this picture because I found this very interesting, and it also sort of shows how times have changed with all the important work you're doing. 1996. This is President Bill Clinton signing an executive order to make space available in federal buildings for missing children posters. It just shows all of the amazing work that you have done over the years. But it was also interesting to me because back then, you know, the posters in the buildings were so important, and we think about the milk cartons, but now everybody's on their phones with Facebook and Twitter, and you know, it's still so important to have the awareness, but the method has certainly changed, I think.
Well, President Clinton was very kind to me, and he certainly helped me establish my career as a child safety advocate. There's no question about it. He had me into the White House several times, and I greatly appreciate him for that. Back in 1993, my daughter was the very first missing child on the internet. I don't know if you knew that or not. We wanted to get her picture out to the relevant parties, to other cop shops, to TV stations, to hospitals, etc. Somebody actually had to mortgage their house to pay for stamps so we could send the flyers through the mail to do that. It took us 8 days from inception to the time they started arriving. Now, you can create a Facebook page, load it with multiple pictures, multiple links, testimonials. You can do all of this for free, and you can do it in absolutely no time at all. And I would suggest that is another step that families need to take almost immediately once a child has been confirmed to have been kidnapped or otherwise is in danger.
So fascinating to think how times have changed. Another interesting thing, Mark and Monique, is now you've got online sleuths who are on Twitter. I know a number of them who will immediately engage and start working on cases, and in many cases are extremely successful in helping the family figure things out, and sometimes even helping law enforcement. And also you've got families that hire private investigators on their own to assist. Have you noticed that, Monique? And when is a good time for a family to decide, you know what, I think in addition to what the police are doing, we also need to get a private investigator?
Oh, absolutely. I think that a lot of parents, when they don't even wait for the law enforcement to fail, because law enforcement has to go through a red tape, a lot of bureaucracy they have to go through. We don't have that. We have the freedom to immediately get on board, not to, interfere with the crime scene. We don't want to do that. But definitely a lot of family and friends have to be interviewed. People remember things within the first few hours, if not days might be even too late. So you have to get on. A lot of people hire private investigators because we do it faster. We don't have the restrictions that law enforcement has.
Such good advice from both Mark and Monique. We appreciate you being on so much tonight. I think so many people think this will never happen in my town. This will never happen to me, but sadly it does happen. And I appreciate you giving your insight tonight to both of you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.